Hello everyone! We'll be talking about audio cues today. For more details, feel free to go to www.all.rit.edu. What is hearing impairment? The definition of hearing impairment is a loss of part or all of the ability to hear. So basically, there are different hearing loss grades: slight, moderate, severe, and profound. For example, if the level of your hearing loss is profound, it means that you can't hear sounds from the city street, a loud radio, normal conversations, amongst others. Hearing loss will make a profound impact on your daily life. Here are some interesting statistics regarding hearing impairment. About 2 to 3 out of every 1,000 children in the United States are born with a hearing loss in one or both ears. There are an estimated 37.5 million adults that report some trouble hearing. More than 90% of deaf children are born to hearing parents. And hearing loss is a common problem caused by noise, aging, disease, and heredity. Approximately 1 in 3 people between the ages 65 and 74 has hearing loss. So how do people know if they have hearing loss? Here are some of the signs: having trouble hearing over the phone, finding it hard to follow conversations when there are 2 or more people talking, often having to ask people to repeat themselves, having to need to turn up the volume on the TV and have it be so loud that others complain, having a problem hearing because of background noise, and thinking that others seem to mumble. So getting to the point today, let's discuss audio cues. What are they? Well, they use sound to convey key information. For example, the doorbell emits a sound to indicate that someone is at the front door. Another example is when a car honks. The driver wants to indicate that he wants attention, to avoid collision, or to warn others. Audio cues are not accessible to people with hearing loss. How do we fix this issue? To make software more accessible, the content must be perceivable. The Perceivable Accessibility Guideline explains that information and elements of the interface must be presentable to users in ways that they can perceive, meaning that they should be presented in multiple forms, whether they be visual, auditory, or tactile, without a loss of information. If audio cues were to be utilized in software, developers would add visual cues, tactile feedback, or messages, transcripts, captions to make software more accessible for people with hearing loss. Not only that, developers should think about accessibility at the very beginning of their projects. If you want to find more information about this particular accessibility guideline, Google Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, and you can find more information about the Perceivable Guideline. For the next few slides, we'll be discussing real-world examples regarding audio cues. For the first example, we'll discuss doorbells. They play a sound when pushed. This is to indicate that someone is at the door. However, a deaf or hard of hearing person will not hear this. To solve this problem, there is a device that will flash lights if the doorbell is pushed. This device is typically placed in every room to ensure that the doorbells are accessible. Next, we'll discuss a very popular game, Fortnite. Sound is very advantageous in this game, and it can be very bad for people with hearing loss. If any of you have played this game, you can understand why that's the case. Fortunately for them, developers have implemented visual audio effects, Let's play the video and you should see audio being visualized in a circular motion. This is very accessible for players with hearing loss. There is a well-known 13-year-old deaf Fortnite professional gamer who utilizes this. Now, this particular device is very popular amongst college students. Alarm clocks typically play a sound based on the determined time. However, deaf and hard of hearing users will not hear this. To make those clocks more accessible, some come with a vibrating device as shown in the picture. To summarize everything we learned today, accessibility in software is an important factor to consider. Audio cues are not accessible for people with hearing loss, and to make sure to convey information in alternative forms, visual, tactile, or both, to make software more accessible. Thank you for your time and thanks for listening.